In today's digital age, information travels at lightning speed. With just a few taps, a rumor can circle the globe, reaching millions of people in a matter of hours. Social media platforms, instant messaging apps, and online news sites have made it easier than ever to share stories, whether they're true or not. This rapid spread of information means that news, opinions, and even outright falsehoods can shape public perception long before the actual facts are known or verified. As people discuss headlines over coffee or react to breaking news on their phones, public opinion can be swayed in real time. The emotional impact of a dramatic story often outweighs the slower, quieter process of fact-checking. In this environment, it's easy for misinformation to take root and influence how we see the world. Take, for example, a recent viral claim that swept across social media. General Electric was supposedly shutting down all its factories and firing thousands of workers, all because of new tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. The story quickly gained traction, sparking outrage and anxiety among workers, investors, and the general public. This narrative, which combined a well-known company, fears of job loss, and the hot-button issue of politics, was practically engineered to go viral. Sensational headlines and emotional language made it irresistible to share, regardless of whether the details were accurate. But as is often the case, the truth behind the headlines is far more nuanced. Real-world events rarely fit neatly into the dramatic stories that dominate our news feeds. To truly understand what's happening, we need to look beyond the surface and dig into the facts. In this video, we'll break down what actually happened at General Electric, and we'll compare it to similar events at General Motors. By examining both cases, we can see how complex economic forces and business decisions are often oversimplified or distorted in the rush to create a compelling story. We'll show how real industrial challenges, like shifting markets, automation, and global competition, are frequently twisted into misleading headlines that grab attention but obscure the real issues. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for anyone who wants to be an informed citizen in today's media landscape. Our focus will be on GE's Salem, Virginia plant and GM's temporary shutdowns of their electric vehicle factories. By looking at these real-world examples, we'll uncover the true market forces and business strategies that drive such decisions, far removed from the sensationalism of viral rumors. So, let's dive in together. We'll learn how to separate rumor from reality, spot misleading narratives, and become smarter consumers of news in a world where the line between fact and fiction is often blurred. The rumor was blunt. General Electric shuts down all factories and fires workers over Trump tariffs. It spread fast online, but no credible news outlet or official GE statement supported it. There were no mass layoffs, no regulatory filings, and no evidence of a company-wide collapse. The story was a classic case of misinformation, twisting a small truth into a sweeping falsehood. Linking the rumor to Trump tariffs made it more shareable, but also more misleading. In reality, GE's operational changes stem from market shifts and internal strategy, not political policy. The supposed shutdown was fiction. To understand what's really happening, we need to look at the actual events at GE's Salem plant. The truth? Sometimes it's not as dramatic as the headlines make it seem. When news broke about General Electric's Salem, Virginia plant, rumors quickly spread, sparking confusion and concern both locally and online. Here's what really happened. GE considered closing its Salem, Virginia plant, not the entire company as some feared. The Salem facility is just one part of GE's vast global operations, but its story is important to the people who work there and the community that surrounds it. In June 2025, GE announced a proposal to close this single facility over the next year or two. The company cited changing market demands and a need to streamline operations as key reasons for the decision. This wasn't a sudden move, but the result of years of shifting industry trends and careful analysis. About 265 jobs are at risk, a significant blow to the local community, where generations have worked at the plant. For many families, the factory has been a source of stability and pride for decades. But it's important to note, this is not a global shutdown, nor is it the end of GE. Nearly half of those workers are eligible for retirement, and GE has promised severance packages, job placement assistance, and other support for those affected. The company says it's committed to helping employees transition, whether that means retiring, retraining, or finding new opportunities. The Salem plant, opened since 1956, once employed thousands. In its heyday, it was a bustling hub of innovation and manufacturing, playing a key role in the region's economic growth. But over the decades, as technology and markets evolved, the number of employees steadily declined. Even if manufacturing ends at this site, GE will keep over 200 employees in other business units nearby. These roles will focus on engineering, sales, and support services, ensuring that GE maintains a presence in Salem and continues to contribute to the local economy. Unfortunately, this local business decision was quickly twisted into a viral rumor online. Social media posts and sensational headlines made it sound like GE as a whole was shutting down, fueling unnecessary panic and speculation. The real story is about a company adapting to market changes, not a sudden collapse. GE is making tough choices to stay competitive in a rapidly changing world, just as many manufacturers must do. So, what led GE to make this difficult call? Let's take a closer look at the factors behind the decision and what it means for the future of the company and the community. GE's decision wasn't about tariffs, it was about declining demand. The Salem plant makes control systems for the power industry, which is shifting rapidly toward renewables. Orders for Salem's products have dropped sharply as the world moves away from fossil fuels. In late 2024, GE announced a global restructuring, cutting 12,000 power division jobs to match shrinking demand. The Salem closure is part of this long-term strategy, not a political reaction. When demand falls, companies must adapt or risk bigger losses. The story here is about global energy transition, not political blame. GE's actions reflect the need to evolve as the market changes. The cause is economic reality, not tariffs. Now, let's compare GE's situation to General Motors. In early 2024, GM temporarily shut down 2 electric vehicle factories, not because of tariffs, but due to slow EV sales. GM had built more EVs than it could sell, so it paused production to manage inventory, a common industry move. The affected plants were Factory Zero in Detroit and Cami in Ontario, with hundreds of temporary layoffs. These were not permanent closures, just strategic pauses. The reasons at GM were short-term market fluctuations, not political decisions. Both cases show how business realities, not headlines, drive tough choices. GM's EV plant shutdowns highlight the challenges of a changing industry. Despite big investments in electric vehicles, consumer demand lagged behind GM's expectations in 2024 and 2025. At the Cami plant, only 274 BrightDrop vans sold in early 2025, far below what was needed to keep production running. Over 1,200 workers faced temporary layoffs as GM adjusted to real market demand. High prices, charging concerns, and slow adoption all played a role. GM's pause was a smart move to avoid unsold inventory, not a sign of failure. Unions and workers were understandably upset, but the decision was about survival, not politics. These events show the human cost of industrial change. Behind every shutdown are real families facing uncertainty. Every factory closure or layoff is personal for the workers involved. At GE's Salem plant, many employees have spent decades on the job, now facing an uncertain future. The union is fighting for severance, benefits, and retraining support. For longtime workers, starting over is daunting, making union support crucial. At GM's Cami plant, months-long layoffs strained families and budgets. Unions demanded more help from the company and government. Whether it's a permanent closure or a temporary pause, the impact on workers is real. Their stories remind us that behind every headline are lives in transition. Factory news often gets tangled in politics. In January 2025, Michigan Democrats wrongly blamed a GM plant shutdown on a Trump executive order. In reality, the closure was for a holiday break and scheduled upgrades, nothing to do with politics. GM quickly corrected the record and the party retracted its claim. This episode shows how easily facts get twisted for political gain. It's a reminder to check the real reasons behind industrial news, not just the headlines. Political spin distracts from the real challenges facing workers and companies. Accurate reporting matters more than ever. The stories of GE and GM teach us a vital lesson. Never take headlines at face value. In today's fast-paced world, information spreads in seconds, and it's easy to get swept up in the latest news, especially when it seems dramatic or urgent. But before we react, share, or form opinions, it's crucial to pause and verify what we're reading. Take the rumor about GE's supposed total shutdown. Many believed the company was closing its doors for good, sparking panic and confusion. In reality, it was just a local plant closure, a decision driven by shifting market forces and changing demand, not a sign of the company's collapse. This misunderstanding shows how quickly misinformation can spread when details are missing or misrepresented. Similarly, when GM announced layoffs, the story was quickly twisted online. Some claimed it was due to politics or international tariffs, but the truth was more nuanced. The layoffs were largely a response to slow electric vehicle sales and evolving industry trends. Without context, the real reasons were lost in a sea of speculation. Both cases highlight how complex business realities are often oversimplified or distorted online. Social media and news aggregators can amplify half-truths, making it harder to separate fact from fiction. It's easy to see a headline and assume we know the whole story, but the truth is rarely that simple. In a world of viral headlines and constant updates, it's up to us to be vigilant. Always check the source of the information. Ask yourself, who is reporting this? Are there official statements or credible data to back it up? Is the story being reported by multiple reputable outlets or just circulating on social media? Taking a moment to verify before reacting or sharing can prevent the spread of false information and protect us from being misled. It's a small step, but it makes a big difference in how we understand the world around us. The truth matters, to workers whose jobs are at stake, to investors making decisions, and to families trying to make sense of the world. Accurate information helps us all make better choices and builds trust in our communities. So next time you see a shocking headline, don't just accept it at face value. Dig deeper, look for context, and remember, the real story is usually more complicated and far more important than the rumor.